in studio with us today. And thank you for spoiling me. She brought me this gorgeous Act Africa t-shirt. It's my color, and we color coded today. I love your dress, Hillary. Looks stunning. Yeah, and also she also gave me these lovely Act Africa coasters that I most definitely will use. I've actually got a mug still that you gave me a while back.
Those mugs are so nice. You can
Yeah.
put them in the microwave. But that's eco-friendly mugs. Yeah.
Hillary, she is the co-founder for Act Africa, and she's a very busy lady, working behind the scenes, doing the most for one of the biggest dilemmas we have in the country at the moment, and that is human trafficking and gender-based violence. And I'm sure you have a lot to tell us today, Hillary, as to what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what the country's now facing.
Yeah, it is. It's something that's always been happening. It's a shock to many people's systems because it's out there, it's been spoken about, which means the awareness has been heightened, which is a good thing in that regard. Yes, it's bringing out the rot that's been hidden. The dirt.
Yeah.
And in order for any healing, for any change, or revolutionary change for the better to take place, the rot has to surface. So that is what's happening.
I'm going to ask you a question now with that beautiful little girl, Jocelyn Smith. Have they got to the bottom of that case yet?
No.
Why is it that she's just one of the victims that has had to go through that? Why is it that that specific case blew up the way it did and the others haven't?
That is a very good question. That is something I actually raised and that is why with subsequent interviews, media interviews that I have had, I've raised it and I've said it's not something new. Yes, for some reason, Jocelyn, her features, the green eyes,
beautiful little girl.
It stood out, and I think because of that and her smile that she had, and
her energy, she had a lovely aura about her.
She did,
yeah.
And that is what attracted a lot of people to it, and of course the media then
hyped that up.
Hyped all of that.
Yes.
But my thing was that at the same time, we've dealt with so many cases prior to that. No, they weren't. They didn't have green eyes or anything of that sort. Look, she is can I say that outrightly, a trafficker's dream because of her features, the eyes, everything. So
I don't even want to say the word.
The looking at the shock on everybody taking a little girl like this, and obviously coming from a situation where there's the mother, there's the boyfriend, and whoever else that's involved, because immediately the question mark was there. She was with this boyfriend before they now started pointing the finger at the mother. But every child should be treated in the same manner. Every child is beautiful, irrespective. And so many children have been sold for various reasons, including purposes of muti, where they've been killed.
Well, that's another aspect I want to touch on, and I do feel, they say South Africa's become now one of the worst hotspots for human trafficking. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've seen on the news. And I think a lot of it will be put on the emphasis that we have very bad witchcraft and black magic going on. I call it black magic. Going on in Africa, not just South Africa, but the whole of Africa.
Exactly.
And it's ancestral worship. I don't know if that is all related.
All of those kind of things, different belief systems, traditions that are there. And that's been prevalent throughout. It's something that as Act Africa, we've always been speaking about and talking about the reasons for human trafficking other than the sex trade, other than forced labor, domestic servitude.
It's the human
organ trafficking, and organ trafficking doesn't just mean for somebody who needs an organ, somebody be it a kidney or whatever the case may be. There's for witchcraft and ritual purposes and
And with all
certain
that,
belief systems that are there, where they even told, get hold of a girl. There was a time, if I remember years ago, when HIV was, where people were being told, if you go and get a virgin and you raped a virgin child, a child who's a virgin,
that's right.
you would be, it would aid, or you would be healed and things like that, and they would get these children, and these children would be raped. So there's those negative belief narratives, belief system fueling these kind of things, which needs to be addressed. And because I don't care what tradition, belief system, or whatever it is wrong.
Well, you've got to ask yourself the question, perhaps it's got to scope into the educational system at schools, where it starts with the belief system, like you say.
Well,
so that needs to change.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say the schools. Remember now,
Or
these kids
the
come
homes.
into your homes.
Yeah.
There's traditions that go on from way back, and it gets carried over from generation to generation. And that is why I'm saying any tradition that fuels gender-based violence or any other violent crime has to be re-looked at. It has to be stopped. You cannot say it's tradition and that is why it has to carry on. No, that's just a loophole. This is an eye-opener for us to look at these traditions that has been carried down for generations and say, but hold on here. This is fueling gender-based violence. This is fueling gender inequality. This is fueling human trafficking. You have the Ukutwala where girls are getting married or forced marriages and things like that.
And young girls too, I'm sure.
Exactly,
Yes.
young girls. And when they are in those marriages, they are abused. So why are some of these marriages happening? Families will sell their kids
Out of
to
desperation,
older men,
right?
because they feel money is going to be coming in, and they'll be able to survive.
To live, yes.
To live.
How the
In
hell
the
do you sell your
meanwhile-
child? That is what
And
I don't
it's
get.
all being put under the under tradition, under the label. It's part of tradition. Abuse is not part of anybody's tradition. It cannot be. How can any kind of abusive situation, stripping somebody of their human rights, in stripping them of their dignity, how can that be part of any tradition? A tradition is meant to be, any tradition is that is healthy, is there to enhance, in there to grow, to uphold human rights, to uphold one's integrity and dignity and respect for the next person and yourself, not stripping you of those things. So for me, and for ACT Africa, anything, any tradition, any religion, in fact, because people hide it behind the doors of religion too, where they have a misguided sense of what certain things are in a tradition or in a religion. Anything of that sort that breaks down or fuels those kind of negative narratives, for me, you cannot foster it and allow it to continue.